The story begins when Guy Chul, a pro boxing trainer, confronts the chief of the Boxing Association for rigging matches. When the conversation goes sour, Guy Chul ends up fighting the association members, which causes him to lose his job. Later, one of his friends recommends him for a teaching job in a small town, but on his way there, he gets a flat tire. While he waits for a tow truck, he notices a flyer of a missing girl named Soo Yeon, which has been drawn over it. The tow truck finally arrives and Guy Chul tries asking questions about the town, but the man rudely ignores him. Later at the mechanic, Guy Chul notices a girl named Yoo Jin in a standoff with 3 other girls and goes closer to help. However, he discovers Yoo Jin is actually the one threatening the girls for having something to do with Soo Yeon's disappearance. The girls tell Guy Chul to mind his business, so Guy Chul leaves, wondering what is wrong with the people in this town. Yoo Jin goes to see Soo Yeon's grandmother, who asks about Soo Yeon, but Yoo Jin still hasn't heard from her. She then goes to Soo Yeon's room and remembers the last time she saw Soo Yeon. They were both having fun on the roof when Soo Yeon got a text and said she had to go to her part-time work. Yoo Jin then notices a car on her table from the place where Soo Yeon worked. That night, Yoo Jin walks along the road when a dark figure starts following her. However, before he catches up to her, she gets on a bus, but as she leaves, she noticed the man staring at her. The next day, Guy Chul meets with the principal of the school, who makes him dean of students, which means he has to collect tuition and lunch money from the students who are owing the school. He's then introduced to the rest of the staff and given a seat beside the quiet art teacher, Ji-sung. During lunchtime, Guy Chul tries to find the students that are owing and get them to pay, but all the girls look at him like trash and refuse to pay him any attention. Just then, the principal walks in with the chairman, Kim Ki-tae, and introduces him to Guy Chul. Kim Ki-tae then tells him to take good care of the children and leaves. Just then, Guy Chul spots Yoo Jin and notices she's on the list of debtors, so he stops her to ask for her money. Yoo Jin insists that she'll pay, so Guy Chul asks about her friend, Soo Yeon, who owes a lot of money and stopped coming to school. When Guy Chul asks if she's a runaway, Yoo Jin gets upset and storms off. Afterwards, Guy Chul heads to the bathroom. There, he notices Yoo Jin sneaking out of school and wonders what she's up to. He then heads into town to look for her, but is distracted when he finds a claw machine. Yoo Jin passes by him as he wins a plushie, so she thinks he must be immature and walks away. Guy Chul continues searching for Yoo Jin when he notices a group of people gathered. There, he finds Chairman Kim Ki-tae campaigning for governor. Suddenly, a man in the audience accuses Kim Ki-tae of being shady, but before he can say more, security guards drag him off while the campaign continues. Meanwhile, Yoo Jin finds the bar where Soo Yeon used to work and looks for a way inside. Just then, Guy Chul happens to spot her as she sneaks in through a side entrance. Yoo Jin finds a group of men and shows them a picture of Soo Yeon, asking if they know anything. The men tell her she can't be in there and order her to leave just as Guy Chul walks in to get her. Yoo Jin tries to run upstairs, but the men catch up to her and stop her. Guy Chul then pushes past them and explains that he's her teacher, so he asks that they let them go quietly. Outside, Guy Chul scolds Yoo Jin and tells her to come to him if she needs something, but Yoo Jin accuses him of only pretending to care. Just then, one of the girls comes out of the bar, so they ask her if she knows Soo Yeon. The girl claims she knows nothing and suggests they ask someone named Madame Isul. Afterwards, Guy Chul drives Yoo Jin home and warns her to stop looking for Soo Yeon on her own. However, Yoo Jin explains that no one in the town seems to care about her disappearance, not even the police. Guy Chul then offers to talk to his police friend and tell her to stop skipping school. At this, Yoo Jin insists on getting out of the car and walking the rest of the way. Guy Chul reluctantly drops her off, annoyed by how much of a brat she is. However, as Yoo Jin walks home, a black car starts to follow her. Suddenly, a man jumps out of the car and grabs her. Meanwhile, Guy Chul realizes Yoo Jin left her phone inside his car, so he turns around to find her. There he finds the man who knocked Yoo Jin unconscious, but before he can get to him, the man drives off. Guy Chul then grabs Yoo Jin and takes her to the hospital. There, the police promise to look into the missing person case, but Yoo Jin points out that she filed a report days ago and nothing had been done. However, the men simply brush her off and claim they'll look into it. After this, Guy Chul confronts his police friend, Dong-seok, and asks why the police aren't doing their job. Dong-seok claims runaways are common in their town and tells him they're handling it. Later, Guy Chul checks school records and sees that Soo Yeon was an orphan who lived with her grandmother, so he drove out to meet her. There, he asked her to give her consent for the police to look into her granddaughter's disappearance. Guy Chul takes the consent form to Dong-seok and insists he filed a report, but Dong-seok warns that it is pointless. However, Guy Chul reminds him he's a cop and tells him to do his job. Guy Chul returns to school, where he notices Yoo Jin skipping classes again. He informs her that he contacted his police friend, so she didn't need to worry, but Yoo-jin insisted the police wouldn't do anything. She then tells him she thought he'd be different and storms out. Later, Yoo-jin sits on a bench looking sad when the art teacher, Ji-sung, approaches her to find out what's wrong. Ga-chul spots them walking through school together, thinks it's weird, but he gets distracted when he notices smoke coming from the girls' bathroom. He immediately storms into the bathroom to scold the girls for smoking at school, but they claim they weren't doing anything. Ga-chul decides to search the stalls for the cigarettes when he finds a camera hidden inside one of them. He tries to report it to the principal, but the principal interrupts and scolds him for filing the missing person report with the police. Ga-chul then changes his mind and keeps the camera to himself. Later, he looks through it and finds footage of one of the teachers with a stained coat installing the camera. He then heads to the staff room and discovers the coat belongs to Ji-sung. Ga-chul looks through his laptop and sees text messages from Soo-yeon on the day she went missing. Ga-chul immediately calls Yoo-jin to warn him that Ji-sung is a pervert, but it's already too late as Yoo-jin is already in the car with him. Yoo-jin tries questioning Ji-sung about Soo-yeon's disappearance, but this angers him, causing him to knock her out. When Yoo-jin wakes up, she finds herself tied up in Ji-sung's house, who continues to insist he didn't do anything to Soo-yeon. Just then, Ga-chul arrives at his house and breaks through the door to save Yoo-jin. After he ties up Ji-sung and asks what happened on the night Soo-yeon went missing. Ji-sung claims that he had found her in the middle of the road and picked her up, but she claims someone was coming to get her, so he left her at a gas station. However, he felt bad about leaving her there, so he went back to check on her, but by the time he arrived, she was already gone, and all that was left was her phone. Just then, the police arrive, and Yoo-jin reveals she was the one who reported to them. They take Ji-sung into custody while Yoo-jin's mom comes to check on her. Later, the police officer contacts one of the men from the bar named Gwak-seo-jang, lamenting that Ga-chul keeps interfering with the case. Later, Gwak-seo-jang reports to Kim Ki-tae that they have a serious problem. The next day in school, the principal tells Ga-chul that he's being relieved from his job because he is just not a right fit. He then slides money to cover his moving expenses and apologizes for the inconvenience. Ga-chul then drives into town where he notices some type of commotion. There, Dong-seok tells him that Soo-yeon's body has just been found. Suddenly, they spot Yoo-jin running closer, and when she realizes it's Soo-yeon, she breaks down crying. Later, Dong-seok searches the police station for Soo-yeon's phone and looks through her text messages. He then calls Ga-chul and informs him that Soo-yeon had texted a woman named Madame Isul on the night she went missing. Upon hearing this, Ga-chul returned to the bar and found Madame Isul. She pretended not to know anything, till Ga-chul informed her that Soo-yeon was found dead and warned her not to pretend anymore. At this, Madame Isul explained that Soo-yeon worked as a singer at the bar, which was frequently visited by politicians like Kim Ki-tae. That night, Soo-yeon had run into Kim Ki-tae and asked for his help with her grandma, who was very sick, explaining she was a student at his school. After Kim Ki-tae scolded Gwak-seo-jang for hiring one of his students at his school and ordered him to make sure she would keep quiet at the bar. Madame Isul then overheard Gwak-seo-jang talking to Soo-yeon on the phone and planning to pick her up. Once Ga-chul heard this, he went to find Gwak-seo-jang, who was surrounded by a group of thugs hoping to teach Ga-chul a lesson for meddling. However, Ga-chul took down every one of the men till it was only Gwak-seo-jang left. Gwak-seo-jang swore he wasn't the one who killed Soo-yeon and explained what happened that night. He had gone to the gas station to get her, but when he got there, he couldn't find her. He went into the stalls to look for her, and that was when he found her unconscious with a masked man. Frustrated, he called Kim Ki-tae and informed him that his son had acted up again. Afterwards, Ga-chul called Dong-seok, who informed him something strange was going on. When Ga-chul asked about Ji-sung, Dong-seok revealed that he had been released the previous night. Ga-chul then got a call from Yoo-jin's mom, who asked if Yoo-jin was with him, as she couldn't find her anywhere. It turned out that Ji-sung had found Yoo-jin and had drugged her till she fell unconscious. When Yoo-jin woke up, she found Ji-sung in a room full of creepy art. Ji-sung stashed in a cupboard while his father, Ki-tae, stormed in and demanded Ji-sung had to leave the country so he wouldn't keep causing so much trouble. When Ji-sung refused, Ki-tae reminded him that he had done so much for him, including killing Soo-yeon. That day at the gas station, Ki-tae had come down to meet Gwak-seo-jang and Ji-sung. He scolded his son for doing foolish things that could ruin his campaign. When he saw Soo-yeon was still alive, he covered her face in a plastic bag and killed her. After Ki-tae leaves, Ji-sung opens the closet and Yoo-jin runs out and hides in the other room. Ji-sung notices her legs under the table, so he breaks glass on the floor and stands in front of the table to trick her into running out. Yoo-jin then ends up falling on the glass and going unconscious. Just then, Ga-chul finds them and begins to pound on the door. At this, Ji-sung quickly hides, so when Ga-chul storms in, he stabs him in the side with a pair of scissors. Ga-chul pulls the scissors and the men fight till Ga-chul finally knocks him unconscious. Guy Chol quickly rushes Yu Jin to the hospital, and on the way, Yu Jin tells him Ki-tae was the one who killed Su Yen. Guy Chol gets her to the hospital on time, and while he waits, he sees a news report that Ki-tae has won the election for governor. He then rushes downtown and smashes into Ki-tae's car on his way back from the election. He goes to confront him, but before he does anything he'll regret, the police arrive to arrest Ki-tae for the murder of Su Yen. The next day, the people in town take down the banners of Ki-tae after hearing the news, while Guy Chol decides to leave town for good. Meanwhile, Yu Jin wakes up in her hospital room and finds the plushie Guy Chol had won from the claw machine.